And in the beginning, you're not going to have potentially the perfect routine for you. There is many layers deep you can go on refining that process, and that's why fitness is so fun, because it's almost a never-ending process. You can always be learning, refining, tweaking, getting better. Even as you get older, your goals might change a little bit. You might need to modify your workouts a little bit, and you might have different goals at different stages in your life. Hello, Aaron Kubitz, personal trainer, functional aesthetics EC, helping average guys perform better inside and outside the gym. Today's video is going to be the first in a 12-part series entitled 12 most common muscle building mistakes. Now, this is not going to be a consecutive video series. I'm going to break it up with training vlogs and information of other sorts, but over the ensuing months, I'm going to be, putting out this video series in 12 parts. And for the sake of avoiding boredom, I'm going to break it up, as I said before. Okay, so today we're going to kick off the series with number 1, which is failure to plan. While exercise in general is good for you, if you want specific outcomes from your training, you need to be just as specific in the design of your training. So exercising is going to be good for, your cardiovascular health. You might mobilize a little bit of fat. You might gain a little bit more energy and mental clarity and focus, and these are all good things. However, one of the big reasons a lot of people train or exercise, and I should make the difference between training and exercising, right? Exercising is just moving your body, right? Training means exercising in a specific fashion for a specific outcome. So, what you want to be doing is training. And a lot of people, the reason that they're exercising is that they want a specific outcome. Whether it's they want to lose some body fat, they want to, quote, tone up your muscles, they want to get a little bit stronger, or if they are very specific and they're an athlete, such as, you're a powerlifter, you're a bodybuilder, you are a marathon runner, you're a track athlete, or you're a football player, and then you want to train to become better at your particular sport. So obviously, making it to the gym and actually exercising is better than not doing anything. And actually, for most people, one of the biggest obstacles is actually making the time to get to the gym on a regular basis. So if you are one of the people that has cracked that code and you're making it to the gym on a consistent basis, that's great. But don't stop there. Make your time at the gym as efficient as possible. Make sure that it counts. Even if this means that you have to spend a little bit of time, a little less time initially actually at the gym and allot some of that time to doing some research to figure out what you should actually be doing when you're at the gym. If you're really short on time and you don't want to spend that time researching and stuff like that, because let's be honest, there's a lot of information out here online on how to work out. There's stuff on YouTube, there's stuff on, things like Quora, there's stuff all over Google. There's plenty of good resources on how you should work out, how you should diet, and all that kind of stuff. But with that being said, sometimes you can have the problem of information constipation or paralysis by analysis. There's so much information to sift through that you sit there and you do nothing because you're not sure exactly where to start. So in that case, sometimes it can be good to hire a professional to guide you through your workouts. And having that precursory knowledge from what you've looked at can help you to better understand who may or may not be a good professional to work with. But it can also help to shorten that timeline for you, right? But make sure that when you're going to the gym, you're not just doing a random mix of exercises. Have a plan, even if, as I said before, that means that you're allotting some of your gym time to figuring out that plan. And then it's kind of that principle of sometimes you need to slow down before you can speed up, right? Be effective first and then apply the efficiency, right? That's what Dr. Stephen Covey said in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talked about making sure that your ladder is against the right wall before you worry about how much effort you're applying to the process, how long you're working, how hard you're working, how much volume you're doing in the gym, how much intensity you're applying. Make sure that the exercises that you're doing are actually in alignment with your ultimate goal. Give some thought, first and foremost, to the ultimate outcome of your training regimen, right? A lot of times people come to me as a personal trainer and I'll ask them at the outset, what are your goals? Well, I want to be healthier, or my doctor said that I need to work out. And that may be true, but is that something that actually inspires you? Is that the real reason that you're coming here and potentially investing a bunch of money to come and work with me? And for the most part, that's not. They're giving you the answer that they think you want to hear. So you have to know, and you don't have to go and tell somebody what your reason for training is. Only you need to know that, but you need to be very clear on why you're training. Once you've determined your overarching goal, or what I like to call your macro goal, do a little bit of research to get a general idea of what does the workout style look like for that particular goal. And in the beginning, you're not going to have potentially the perfect routine for you. There is many layers deep you can go on refining that process, and that's why fitness is so fun, because it's almost a never-ending process. You can always be learning, refining, tweaking, getting better. Even as you get older, your goals might change a little bit. You might need to modify your workouts a little bit, and you might have different goals at different stages in your life, but it's a never-ending process. But don't let that stop you, right? Get the broad overview. Start implementing some basic principles, and then continue adding to that knowledge base over time, and adding in the micro things, right? The little tweaks to your supplements, your rest periods, the time that you're training, the volume, the intensity, your periodization style, all those different things. But at the beginning, have a general idea of, what are the specific exercises that I want to do? What order do I want to do these exercises in? Why am I doing the exercises? What specific muscle groups am I working? Why am I working those muscle groups? What are the number of sets that I'm going to be doing? What are the number of reps that I'm going to be doing? What are the number of, how long is the rest periods in between my sets going to be? Why am I using those specific sets, reps, and rest periods in my training? Okay, so after you have a general idea of how your workout is initially going to look, you also want to have a plan of progression. If you do the same thing over and over and over again, eventually it's going to stop producing the same results. So have an initial plan of progression on how you want to progress. At the same time, don't fall into the trap of this muscle confusion or what I like to call workout ADD, where you're hopping from one program to the next on a weekly or even a monthly basis, right? What you want to do is stick with the program for at least, 3-4 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, to be able to get a feel of, is it actually producing results? Am I getting some results from this? Am I getting a little bit stronger? Am I getting a little faster? Am I losing some body fat? Whatever the case may be with your specific training goals, you have to stick along with it long enough so that you can see if it's actually producing results for you. Once you find a program that's working well for you, continue using that program until it stops working or until the results start slowing down. At that point, then you want to take a step back and take a critical look at the program and look at, okay, and maybe do a little extra research or whatever on how you want to change it up, but don't just randomly change it up. Make sure that there's a rhyme and a reason to why you are changing that program in the specific manner that you're changing it. Now, the way that you change the program may not actually lead to the results you're looking for, but the importance of having a thought-out plan of why you're doing it, not just changing the program at random, is that when you do that, you can better assess what went wrong along the process if it doesn't work out in the way that you planned. And then you can manipulate the variables. Strength training, athletic training, training for aesthetics, they're all very similar to conducting a science experiment, right? That you have a list of different variables, and in this scenario, the variables are going to be things like your number of sets, the number of reps, the amount of weight you're using, the amount of rest period in between your sets, and then also what does your diet look like? Are you were you eating enough food? Did you get enough carbohydrates to fuel the length of the workout you're trying to do? Did you get enough total calories for what you're doing? Are you eating enough protein? Is there other things like maybe certain supplements that can take you over the edge, right? All these different variables that you can factor in there. Other important ones are your stress, your sleep, things like that. Back in, I believe, the 1940s, guy Hans Selye, he came up with this principle called the GAS principle, or General Adaptation Syndrome, which basically says that all the different stresses in our life, whether they're physical, mental, or emotional, are going to contribute to the overall stress load on the body. And so, if you have a lot of work stress, maybe you need to tone down the volume of your training, and you can't tolerate quite as much physical stress, right? If you are having, you're not getting quite as much sleep, you might also want to tone down the volume. Focus a little bit more on heavier lifting, not doing marathon training or bodybuilding training or doing a lot of CrossFit workout type stuff, which is going to be very draining, take a lot longer time to recover from, but make your workouts a little bit more brief. Put in some more breathing exercises, yoga, take short little walks, do some light spinning or whatever on a bike, things that aren't going to take a ton of time, to take into consideration the circumstances that you find yourself in life. And this is actually what functional aesthetics is all about. It's about working to achieve your goals in the context of the circumstances that you find yourself in life, right? There are ideal protocols according to science, but not all of us are professional athletes. In fact, the majority of us are not professional athletes, and we don't have the luxury of spending the rest of the day recovering and eating in the optimal manner. So we have to take that into consideration when designing our workout programs. Alright, so lastly, and in closing, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Life will happen, life will get in the way. Have a plan of how you want to eat, how you want to train. However, if life happens and you're not able to train in the exact way that you want to train, doesn't mean that you shouldn't train at all, right? So, and I've heard this from some people, right? It's like, well, I had this workout design and this thing that I wanted to do, but now I can only get into the gym instead for an hour, I only have time for 20 minutes or something, right? And so what I used to do back in the day is I'd organize my workouts. I'd have about 4 days of lifting per week, right? And the rest of the day I'd be doing running and cycling, things like that, right? And so I'd usually have like a chest and shoulders day, and then I'd have like I think like a leg day, and then I'd have more arm focused day, and then I'd have a pulling sort of day, right? And so, for example, if I get to the gym and I'm going to be doing my deadlifts and pulling and all that kind of stuff, and I don't make it through the entire workout, or I don't have time to do the entire workout, that's okay. The next time you get to the gym, finish off the second half of the workout. It will still keep you on track, and in the big grand scheme of things, you are still going to end up pretty much at the same place, right? Obviously, getting more frequency in your training and stuff, if you are leading up to a competition, it's going to be more beneficial. But as in terms of training for health and training for longevity, you have your entire life to be training and doing these things, and it's going to keep you on track by just kicking it down the road a little bit, pick up where you left off. Sometimes people are like, well, should I finish this workout or should I go on to the next one? And you want to be making sure that you're hitting everything evenly, right? So I would say if you didn't finish this one, if you only got halfway through it, pick up where you left off on the second, on your second workout, and maybe have that be a short day so that you're not kind of splicing two workouts together. Because what you could do is do like the second half of that workout and then the first half of the next workout, but then it just gets too logistically, convoluted and everything. So I just say, hey, do a half workout, maybe do a little cardio afterwards if you wanted more stimulus or something, and then pick up where you left off. Again, it's as there was a book that I read years ago about running, and he said, it's not the amount of miles that you're doing this week or this month or even this year, it's the miles that you put in over the years to build up that aerobic base, to build up that training volume, build up that training experience that ultimately makes you a better runner, better athlete, better lifter, all that different stuff. So again, consistency wins in the end, but at the same time, just because you're consistent, you also should be having a plan. Just don't let the rigid following of that plan prevent you from doing anything at all if life gets in the way. Alright guys, hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button in the lower right hand corner of the screen. If you'd like to see more content related to workout design for performance, fat loss, muscle building, also how to work around injuries, should you sustain them in the course of your training journey, and then how to try to prevent those from happening in the first place by sound training principles, consider subscribing to the channel by hitting the button in the lower right hand corner of the screen, and we'll see you all next time for more health and fitness information.